What is going on, my friends? My name's Corrupt, and today we're going to be breaking down for you 4 of the best TH11 attack strategies that you can use right now. We're going to be starting off with the Queen Charge Zap Miners. So if you guys do enjoy this type of content, then remember to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you guys don't miss any of my educational Clash of Clans content. So what are you looking for in specific to a Queen Charge Zap Miners? Well, specifically when you're doing the Queen Charge, we'll kind of explain that a little bit later, but using the Zap Quake, very simple. You just need to look at where the clan castle is and what value can you get around it. Usually this will be stuff like expos, but here we want to actually gut this entire compartment. So we want to take these down because we want to be able to get rid of this entire Eagle artillery compartment. That way what this allows us to do is just allow our miners to go around that with little to no problems. And we're of course getting the clan castle, so we don't need to worry about that. Now, the biggest thing that you guys really do need to understand, though, is the pathing for your miners. This is where the Queen Charge comes in. You're going to use that to get some sort of value, like a multi-inferno, or even an Eagle artillery if you didn't get it, but you're trying to create the pathing specifically for your miners to drive right into the base. That's what you should be trying to look for when you are using this attack. So what we see here, we want to make sure that we're kind of taking a look at a good area. Here is a good example of going into an area for a Queen Charge. We can get down a multi-inferno, and we're able to create some pathing for our miners. So what we want to do is we want to create one side of the funnel here with a baby dragon, the other side over here with a wizard, and this is going to force that queen in with the super wall break, and that's going to clear out that multi-inferno compartment. What we're also going to do on the other side while this is going on is using the king and the siege barrack, or maybe just the king, and you guys can actually use that other, like you can use a different siege machine, like for instance a stone slammer, but the siege barrack was used in this case, but also with the king to create this part of the funnel. So this is going to basically become the pathing here. It's going to kind of let these miners go this way and right over to the expos. That's what you should be looking for, and that's what you need to be doing when you guys are using the Zap Queen Charge Miners. So you'll see that we're going to be dropping in the lightning spells, making sure that we're able to weaken those up, and then using the Quake spell to finish off the Eagle and the clan castle. So now once we're doing that, we can actually start our Queen Charge. Once we're able to create a solid funnel using the wizard and the baby dragon, like I mentioned, you'll even see that we're using a couple balloons as a way to sort of soak up any seeking air mines on the outside as we sort of start to get right into the base, like you'll see here. We're making sure that we're able to get right in to take care of the multi-inferno, but also remember that we're getting the pathing from this base. That's the most important thing that we need to worry about. Now you'll see from the other side as well is we are creating the funnel with the siege barrack and the king. So this is kind of what we're clearing up over here, and this is what we're getting from our Queen Charge. That way we can send our miners in, like you'll see pretty soon, right there, sending them right into the base, and their pathing is going to be very, very simple, just allowing them to go right over into the expo compartments. Now you may be wondering, where is his warden? Well, he's going to be a little late on his warden here, so unfortunately you're not going to see the warden going in, but you know that exactly you should be placing the warden right when you've got your miners to go through. So in this case, his warden's going to be a little bit behind, but you guys still get the idea and the concept of it. Still making sure that you have your warden right behind the miners and hogs as they move through. Now, you should be using your warden ability as the second sort of thing to use, very similar to a hybrid. You want to make sure that you're keeping your miners alive without using a heal spell, because you may need that heal spell later on, like you see here, making sure that the miners are able to get through that really quickly. Now you'll see that we still have a free spell as well, and we can use that against the multi-inferno. So usually you want to try and bring a free spell. If you can't, that's fine, but usually freeze is nice to bring, especially if there's any back end splash damage defenses like you see here. In case though you don't really need it, definitely If you're going up against a single and your queen steps up to get it, then you could definitely use that free spell for the queen. That's definitely another viable option, especially if you're seeing double singles. But this still gives you guys a really good idea of how you guys should be using this attack strategy. It's very simple. Zap Miners is a very, very easy attack strategy to understand, learn, and is actually a lot of fun. You can switch this out for Hybrid, which we will be talking about later on, but let's go ahead and go to the next attack strategy, which is going to be the Zap Dragons. So next here is going to be the Zap Dragons. This is a very simple attack strategy, and it's definitely one that you don't really need to understand too much base identification. It works on a lot of different bases, but let's give you guys an example here. This one has single target infernos. This is an attack strategy that can easily deal with these. Dragons are definitely very good against single target infernos, and specifically this attack, it can work really, really well. Now, of course, Drag Bat is another good option, but this is just as good, especially against single targets. Now, what we need to be taking a look at here is the air defense placement. Like you see here, we notice that all these air defenses are on one side of the base. So what we want to make sure that we're doing here is we want to actually take down at least 3 of them with the lightning and 1 with the Sui. So what we're going to do is we're going to take advantage of these 2 air defenses here by using a lightning right in the middle between the 2, and we're going to Zap Quake those 2. We're going to use 2 lightnings and 1 quake in order to take it down. Then we're going to use the remaining lightning on top of this air defense and Sui for this one. That's all we're going to be doing specifically with that. Now, the other side of the base is going to be creating the funnel specifically with the E-Drags. So we got 2 E-Drags that we can use to kind of chain some value here and create the pathing that we need to kind of drive our dragons right into the base. That is what's very important when you guys are really using this attack. So pathing is just like how I mentioned this with the Queen Charge Zap Miners. This is just as important. It's the pathing, it's the funnel that you need to make so that then you could send your dragons in. Now, what I'll mention about the Stone Slammer is you can either send the Slammer in with the dragons and the balloons, or you can use it either adjacent from your entire attack, and that way it's able to keep the dragons in the base and able to have those reinforcement of balloons in the clan castle and using a haste to take care of the area that it pops from. So like onto like a single or multi-inferno, for instance. So that's a good example in terms of using the Slammer. But let's go ahead and give you guys that example, because notice that we're not going for the clan castle here, and we're just going for the air defenses. That's all we're doing, because we can easily deal with the clan castle by just using the poison. And the dragons, of course. Now, another big thing is if you're dealing with headhunters in the clan castle, it might be a good idea to pop your warden ability early in order to prevent that warden from getting taken down and having to pop it with the auto ability. It would definitely not be a really good idea, and it's definitely going to hurt your attack. So you got to make sure that you're keeping a couple things in mind here about that. But you guys can still see we got the value that we need to from the bottom, and now what we're doing here is sending in the dragons now that we have created a solid funnel. Notice that what we're doing is we're using the Slammer on this side. Like I mentioned, we're using it so we can keep the dragons in the base, take down some defensive value as we move through. Notice the use of the Rage and the Warden ability in order to get these dragons right in and protect the Warden from the headhunters. As we're moving through, we still have that Stone Slammer with the haste that we can use to get to the balloons to those key defenses like that single target Inferno. Now, as we're moving through, we do want to use the Rage spells in order to make sure that we're able to keep these dragons driving through, because they are somewhat slow. So it's definitely really nice to have that dragon or have that Rage to power through the base and keep these dragons moving through. So that's really all you need to know about using the Zap Dragons. I do have a breakdown guide for you guys, so if you guys want to check it out, it's going to be as a card up here. So definitely it's very good to check out, and if you are new to using the Zap Dragons, I would suggest watching that one, because this one doesn't give you a full sort of breakdown of it. That video really goes over the base identification and everything that you need to know before you actually start, getting a little bit more comfortable with this. So definitely I would suggest taking a look at that video. It's a great video and it's going to teach you guys how to use it. But let's go to move on into the next one, which is going to be the Zap Hybrid. So now we've got the Zap Hybrid. We've got a queen walk version of this, so we're going to kind of walk you guys through this attack. So the biggest thing that you should be understanding is that you want to try and get pathing from this. By taking out this compartment here, if we're able to take this down, then our pathing for our hybrid is going to kind of be like this into the base. Let me get a different color. So if we're going to be sending them in, it's going to be kind of like this into the base, and we're driving this way. So what we want to do with the Zap Quake is we want to take this down. So that's kind of the whole thing. It's by looking at how the pathing is. Because again, remember, that's the most important thing. Pathing is incredibly important. With anything, with dragons, miners, or even hybrid, it's definitely something that you guys need to understand. So by getting rid of these sort of buildings here, and if we play, you guys can see exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be using the lightning spells in order to take down the Expo and the Clan Castle along with the Eagle Artillery, and weakening any of these defensive buildings along there. Now what we're doing is we're going to be dropping in the Siege Barrack. We're going to be creating the funnel along with the King in order to create this sort of pathing. So kind of what we're looking at here in terms of the pathing is we're trying to get this into the base. This is the goal. That is basically what we're trying to do. And because we took down this entire top part here, we don't need to worry about that. So once we've got some really good pathing, we can actually start to send in our miners and hog riders. Now remember, like I mentioned before, we want to use a heal spell with this, and if we do have a rage spell, we can use it to, our advantage by using it over the miners and hogs to kind of get them right through. Now we don't have another heal, but we do have the warn ability, which we are going to use on the back end. This one's a very, very simple attack, and you guys can see how easy that this really, really is as we're kind of moving right through the base. Really doesn't take too much to understand. Zap Hybrid is my more personal favorite attack strategy to use right now, as it is very, very powerful, and you can really add a queen walk if you need to sort of create some pathing, if you don't need to do a Sui hero. I usually like the Sui hero, then I can probably just use the Siege Barrack on the other side, but other times it may be a lot better just to use the queen walk or queen charge methods. It just depends on the base. So that is the thing with base identification. Now let me know if you guys want to see more or like a base identification either series or a video itself, but definitely I want to try and bring something about base identification for you guys. It's just been really difficult trying to create that video. There's just a lot of planning involved, and I have to do a lot of research on it, but that is basically the Zap Hybrid here. If you guys want to see a full breakdown of this, let me know. But let's go ahead and take a look at the final attack, which is going to be the Zap Lalo. You guys probably guessed it, it is going to be the Zap Lalo. Zap Lalo is very powerful, and it is, of course, the best Town Hall 11 attack strategy that you guys can definitely be using right now. It is definitely very hard to understand, it's very hard to use, but once you start to master it and you use it a lot more, you'll start to really get the understanding of the attack. So this example here is just giving you guys a good example of multiple things. The lightning spell, the Sui hero or hero dive, and the pathing. That's what you should be trying to do. So like you'll see here, we're going to be using these lightning spells specifically over the Eagle, Clan Castle, and Queen in order to take those down. Those are going to be the big key defenses that you need to take down. Other than that, the Sui hero, you're usually going to be looking for other areas of the base to create some sort of pathing. That way you get this like nice C shape in terms of how you're going to be going through the entire base. So once you drop that Quake spell, the lightnings, you're able to take those down, you can start your Sui hero. You may notice that we are using a golem to tank for the queen. This is really good, and it could definitely offer you a lot of value. Now, what you need to do when you're doing a Sui hero is looking at the air defenses and how can you create pathing from taking down air defenses. This way, what you're trying to do is look and see how can you create that pathing, because lava hounds will go in for those air defenses. By taking those down, you're creating little bits of pathing for your Lavaloon, because now the hounds will dictate where you're going to be dropping in the balloons, and that's going to kind of help you as you drive yourself through the base. Usually you see this attack with 3 lava hounds. This one is with 2, and it's just as effective. So you just really need to think about the different sort of attacks, you need to make sure that you're able to get through. We even have a stone slammer for this, so we're going to be using a Lavaloon in order to see if there are any seeking air mines that would take some of that damage and put it onto the siege or onto the stone slammer. So as you're moving through, though, you're going to be trying to get that C shape like you see here. We have a seek almost as we're going through. So when we're using this, we want to freeze up against multi-target infernos. If they're singles, don't worry about it, because you don't really need to worry about singles all too much. But as you're moving through, you've got to use the Warren ability, the haste spells to get these balloons right over to key defensive structures like the expos, like the multi-infernos, air defenses, stuff like that. And as you're moving through here, you can see that we do still have a free spell, and we're using the haste spells to get these balloons right exactly where they need to go. Like you'll see here, we're driving these balloons over to the air defense and over to the wizard tower, or over to the multi-inferno to take these defenses down. That's really all you need to understand about this one. This isn't going so in-depth because I actually have a breakdown guide of this attack for you guys to check out. So if you guys go ahead and take a look at the card above, you guys can go ahead and take a look at that specific video, as it is a great video breaking down everything that you guys need to know about the Zap Lalo, from different variations to really how you guys can use the spells and stuff like that. So that, my friends, is going to be how you guys use all 4 of these attacks, really how to break, or really just break down the base in order to find the right sort of variation of this attack or of the Zap Quake to use. So if you guys did enjoy, then remember to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you guys don't miss any of my educational Clash of Clans content. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter or even on Instagram, my social medias. Definitely go check those out. Those links are in the description. And don't forget to follow me over on Twitch. That's going to be where I'm streaming. And don't forget to join my community Discord server, or even join any of the clans I cover within Clash of Clans. So definitely their Discord server links are in the description below. Other than that, though, guys, that is going to do it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.